What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new video where I will reveal to you guys what Arne Slot said to Michael Oliver, the referee, and the assistant referee, so why exactly he got sent off. But first I want to reveal that it's absolutely typical that now the Premier League announces that semi-automated offside system will be introduced into the Premier League later, a little bit later in the season. It will be used already in the FA Cup 5th round, which Liverpool are not in, of course, but it's typical that they announced this 1 or 2 days after Liverpool conceded a goal which would have been ruled out had the semi-automated offside system been in place. And I mean, in the summer they should have introduced this, not in the middle of the season, but in the summer they said that after the second international break, so in October, they will introduce semi-automatic offside systems, and it still is not in the Premier League in the middle of February. It's an absolute travesty. Now let's reveal that what Arne Slot allegedly said to get a red card from Michael Oliver, and a lot of you guys are agreeing with me that he should be sacked and he shouldn't referee in the PGMOL and in the Premier League, and the PGMOL needs a massive reform, which we will talk about in this video as well. But an expert lip reader has provided a transcript, an interpretation as to what Arne Slot allegedly told Michael Oliver. So a two-word comment by Arne Slot towards Oliver is understood to have prompted Michael Oliver to show a red card to Arne Slot, but there is more to the story. According to expert lip reader Jeremy Freeman, Arne Slot said "great game" to Michael Oliver, and the referee seemed to interpret that as sarcasm. And Arne Slot, after getting a red card, he replied to the referee, "Sure, you give me a red for that? I will check it out for later. Me and you, yeah?" At that point, Van Dijk stepped in and spoke to the official. Of course, Arne Slot shook the hand of Michael Oliver as well. And it wasn't like a calm handshake, it was a nervous handshake like that. But Pep Guardiola shook the hands of referees like that before, and he never got a red card. And now Van Dijk jumped in and said, "Hey Michael, that was not a pull of your arm, Michael. It isn't personal." And then he asked Arne Slot to just keep away from the referee so he doesn't get a longer punishment, a longer fine. And not only did he give a red card to Arne Slot, he gave a red card to the assistant manager, Šipka Hošlov. They will both be banned for 2 games probably, but that ban is suspended until the hearing is completed. And Arne Slot, before going to Michael Oliver, he went over to the linesman saying, "Isn't this a push on Konate? It's a disgrace. If you go and look again, you will prove it." That's what Arne Slot shouted to the assistant referee, Judge Oliver. And maybe that was what Michael Oliver heard, or the assistant referee told Michael Oliver that Arne Slot disrespected him. But he only criticized the decision itself. And it was a disgrace because Konate was clearly pushed before the last Everton goal, and yet the linesman didn't see it. Michael Oliver didn't see it, even though he was looking at it. But the fact that VAR didn't disallow it is an absolute disgrace, and probably one of the reasons why is because they were looking at the offside for too long, and the Everton crowd already did a pitch invasion for a draw, by the way, which is absolutely hilarious. And also, if they had disallowed the goal, they probably were fearing that the Everton fans would absolutely riot inside the stadium and there would be huge fights with the stewards and the security. So maybe they just wanted to give Everton the goal to not have more crowd trouble. And it's so bad that these decisions are not objective, and they are subjective, and they are also emotional decisions by referees, because Michael Oliver clearly was emotional when Arne Slot was upset and went over to him. He immediately got out his red card after like 2 seconds of Arne Slot shaking his hand and saying a few words to him. And if this is true, that Arne Slot just said "great game" to Michael Oliver and he got a red card for that, then it's an absolutely scandalous, disgraceful decision, and it's definitely a huge overreaction from Michael Oliver. And it just shows how fragile of an ego Michael Oliver has, and also it shows that referees are so insecure and they are so quick to brandish yellow and red cards in the heat of the moment, because that wasn't really disrespectful. Maybe what Arne Slot said to the linesman, it can be interpreted as disrespectful, but in the heat of the moment, you know, I can understand why Arne Slot was so angry, because I was so angry. We all were so angry, all the Liverpool fans, because that decision just robbed Liverpool of a victory and robbed Liverpool of 2 points. That maybe, yes, on the balance of play, Liverpool didn't deserve to win the game, but still, when it's 8 minutes of extra time instead of 5 and you concede the goal that was offside and there was a push on Konate in the build-up, that goal shouldn't stand. So I can fully understand Arne Slot being emotional, and it just shows that Arne Slot cares a lot and he's a winner. I also strongly condemn any threats and vicious personal abuse hurled at Michael Oliver and at Abdoulaye Doucouré, even though Doucouré wasn't right to go out to the Liverpool fans and gloat. He shouldn't receive racist abuse on social media. That's not acceptable. I just cannot wait for Everton to come to Anfield and we give them absolute hell and we make the Anfield atmosphere an absolute cauldron, a fortress. And Van Dijk came out after the game and he said that I think the referee had a big part to play in the game in terms of certain challenges were given as a foul and similar challenges weren't given as fouls, and it wasn't a fair refereeing performance because Everton got just 9 fouls and Liverpool got 20. So which means that Liverpool committed allegedly 20 fouls according to the referee, yet we had the ball twice as much as Everton. And Arne Slot said on the red card after the derby that there is a process now and we have to respect that. So Arne Slot couldn't go into details, he couldn't reveal in the press conference what exactly he said to Michael Oliver. That's why I'm making this video, so to reveal that to you guys. And he also said emotions got the better of me, so looking back I would love to do it differently, and Arne Slot was very honest and fair in his assessment, and I love it that he's so direct and so honest. And the reason why Šipka Huslov, the assistant manager to Arne Slot, was sent off is that he was hounding the linesman and maybe the fourth official after the full-time whistle because he clearly felt that the goal shouldn't have stood because of Konate's push. And it was shown in the live telecast that he was following the referee for half the ground, and he was pointing to Doucouré that he should be sent off because he was already on a yellow card, and he went over to the Liverpool fans to celebrate, and then he got into a brawl with Curtis Jones, so he deservedly got sent off. And now let's talk about the PGMOL, because it clearly needs massive reform and massive changes, and Howard Webb, the chief, the head of the PGMOL, needs to resign or needs to get sacked, because at the moment they are tarnishing the Premier League's reputation worldwide, and the PGMOL needs to be stripped down or replaced with a new organization that is also independently monitored to ensure that they are being held accountable. Because when referees make scandalous, awful mistakes, they aren't held accountable, they aren't properly punished. They can referee the next week and the week after that and nothing happens, except teams get punished. The referees have been getting worse and more arrogant and abusing their power to avoid scrutiny, and no action is taken against them, really no meaningful action. Apart from David Coote getting sacked, he did so many illegal things that it was inevitable, but all the other referees did illegal things, some of them. Michael Oliver went over to referee for the Man City owners, and yet he's still refereeing in the Premier League years later, even just starting with having VAR be completely independent from the PGMOL, because the VAR referee shouldn't be best friends with the referee on the pitch, because there is definitely a conflict of interest there. They wouldn't be making fair and honest decisions because they are afraid of hurting their best friend's feelings by overruling them. It's two different, completely different skill sets as well. To be a VAR referee, it requires a completely different skill set than what an on-pitch referee needs. So it makes sense that different people should be hired to be VAR referees. And having VAR be truly independent from the on-pitch referees, that would remove all the biases and looking out for my mate crap, and that they would actually hold the on-field referee accountable for their decisions, which ultimately should lead to a higher standard of on-field refereeing as well. And that's what we all want. We want better referees. We want the referees to not be the center of attention. We don't want to talk about the referees all the time and their mistakes. And it also damages the reputation and the PR of the Premier League worldwide, and they care a lot about their image, their reputation. So that's my only hope, that sooner or later the Premier League will realize it needs a refereeing reform. It needs to reform the PGMOL, because it cannot continue like this. And it's also a good point made by a Liverpool fan that the Dutch people are usually known to be reserved and calm, and it took less than a year to break Arne Slot and to make him absolutely lose his cool and lose his marbles. And Arne Slot is just smart with his interview or press conference, that he doesn't say much, he doesn't criticize the referee, because he wants to get the lightest punishment possible. If he came out and blamed Michael Oliver again for those awful decisions, then the FA would come down hard on him. And it's a good advice that maybe with these referees you can't even say anything bad to them, because they will instantly give a yellow or a red card to you, because they are so insecure and so full of themselves. So maybe what Arne Slot should do, even after an awful game by the referee, is to just leave the referee alone and let maybe his assistant referee or fourth assistant slag the referee off after the game in an interview, or maybe get his fourth assistant go up to the referee and ask why he gave those decisions, because Arne Slot getting suspended actually hurts Liverpool on the pitch. And I'm convinced, just like this Liverpool fan, that this is why Jurgen Klopp left. This is the referees and these awful decisions and the years of corruption and awful decisions is the reason why Jurgen Klopp left. He just ran out of energy. He couldn't take it anymore. Because the stress that these matches can cause, for 9 years Jurgen Klopp put up with the English referees. And when referee decisions in a match can be the difference between the title being won and lost rather than the teams themselves, the margins are so little, so fine. Remember, Liverpool lost the Premier League title twice by 1 point. And the referees made more than 1 point of a difference in those seasons. Man City got multiple games where they won because of refereeing mistakes. And Liverpool also got multiple games in those seasons where they didn't win because of refereeing mistakes. And the refereeing is just awful. Incompetent, amateur, egotistical. And the Premier League won't ever change this, because controversy drives clicks. It's good for the brand. I don't kind of agree with this point. At this point, some people are actually turned off of watching the Premier League because of this many refereeing controversies. But they know the numbers better than me, the Premier League. And Ibo Karate's response on his Instagram was perfect. He posted a picture saying, "It's all of them against us. Let's be ready for the next challenge, Sunday now. And let's win against Wolves. And let's forget about everything else." Also, some injury problems for Liverpool. Cody Gakpo had to be substituted in the Everton game because he got a knock. It's not a serious injury, but he is a doubt for the Wolves game. Tyler Morton just got an operation on his injury, so he will be out for the season. And Joe Gomez also has a bad hamstring injury, and he could be out for month, 2 months, who knows. Joe Gomez is also a major doubt to feature for the rest of the season, so that means probably Joe Gomez should be sold at the end of the season. Last season he had a brilliant season, but this season, again, his injury problems came back. Thankfully, Trent Alexander-Arnold is back fit, Diogo Jota is back fit, Curtis Jones is suspended for his red card, but otherwise Liverpool have a fully fit team apart from these like 2 or 3 injuries. So that's really, really good news, and we need everybody, because this next run of games is absolutely crazy. And Arne Slot didn't really want to analyze all the refereeing decisions. He said many things happened in extra time, but like I said, it wouldn't be smart to go into every single incident. I like a lot that Curtis Jones stood up for the team, for the fans, but there are also other ways to do that. Maybe I will talk with him about that, but it is the same for me. I should have acted differently. It's an emotional sport, and sometimes individuals make the wrong decision out of emotion, and that's definitely what I did, Arne Slot said. And part of Liverpool's game was to try to prevent Everton playing lots of long balls, but you can't prevent the goalkeeper playing long balls, you can't prevent free kicks to be launched as long balls, but Liverpool defended pretty well, but the midfielders and the attackers weren't able to bring our attackers into a lot of promising positions because of Everton's intensity and very good defensive shape, and also because of the atmosphere and the refereeing mistakes. I mean, every single time an Everton player got near a Liverpool player and got touched, they dived. Even when they didn't get touched, they dived. And both of Everton's goals actually came because of refereeing mistakes. But it's also a good point that Liverpool didn't create a lot. We created maybe 2.5 chances and we scored 2 goals. So we were very efficient with our finishing, but it's so hard to play the game in a different way if you face the circumstances we faced and the playing style we faced. So that's why I was happy that we coped with their playing style in such a good manner, Arne Slot concluded. And he's talking about not just the atmosphere, the stadium, but the referee as well when he talks about circumstances. So let me know what you think about all the things that we talked about in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.